Before I start the show, I just want to express my deepest thoughts with those in Christchurch and my condolences to anyone that was affected in the shooting that happened. So we just need to take the time to take a minute and think about those who lost loved ones and those who were heavily impacted. So, how do you solve a problem like Mariah? As my brother said, spoiler alert, you can't. So there you go, I'm just an Australian girl with the world at her feet, working in public relations and communications, who is learning about life and myself every single day. Join me as I tell you stories, share my outlook on life, and just talk utter garbage. This podcast is where I talk about my world, your world, and the world around us. Hopefully inspire or just entertain. But it'll be fun, I promise. On today's episode, I'm going solo to talk about everything from my 3-month review of my goals to an awesome life hack that will get your to-do list in order, and a little bit about Mariah's long weekends for the last 2 years. So let's get started. Welcome, I'm back for another episode of How Do You Solve a Problem Like Mariah, and I'm buzzing. The weekend was good, it was nice and chill, and I felt like I got so much done. I have New Zealand in like 2 weeks or just under by the time this podcast comes out. I am recording on a Monday because I was way too tired last night, but that's fine because it's all about compromise when it comes to our schedules. But also, I featured on a podcast. I was interviewed probably maybe the start of March, and it's a podcast called Breaking the Barrier. It's all about the journey of Andrew Lorenzo and all of his listeners on his amazing journey towards his marathon run next April. So I joined his show because a lot of it is about mindfulness and getting in the right mentality. So I'll put the link in the show notes, but I listened to the episode on the way home and he was so complimentary of me and he said he's had some really great feedback. So it was really amazing to join the show. I am buzzing from listening to that just to get that amazing feedback. Also, my housemate Abby and I booked a couples getaway, not really, but we'll call it that, to Hobart for the long weekend in June. Had cheap flights, highly recommend getting onto cheap flights on Jetstar and Tiger. And we just realised we didn't need to leave the country completely to experience another amazing part of the world. So we are so excited, and I'll definitely be getting reviews on Hobart when I head there. So now we're into the 3rd month of the year, and I really want to have a look at my goals and do a little bit of a quarterly review, but I also want you to look at your goals as well. I did a video on this and I'll watch it back every 3 months to see where I'm at in 3 months' time. And I think we do a lot in 3 months, so it'll be interesting to see where I get with it. I will not post it because, let's be honest, no one wants to actually listen to me for 10 minutes talk about myself and my goals. So it's just for myself. If you really want to see it, I will send it to you. But I don't even know if I'll listen to it between now and the 3 months. So if I'm looking at my vision board as I speak, I want to look at what I've done so far, which is amazing. I was accepted to go to New Zealand, and that was a massive one on my vision board. Although I haven't been yet, I've been accepted. I've booked Europe, which was a massive one on mine as well. I have continued the podcast, obviously. Had some amazing advancements with the podcast, had some awesome guests. I had, a bit of a goal to get some more guests on, which I've done. I'm working on getting some more. I've got some really exciting ones coming up as well. And also to talk about the whole lying to get an experience or an opportunity. I've still got more of those, which I will get through. I haven't done Spanish, but anyway, we're talking about what I've done, right? I have lost some body fat, which I'm super happy about. Still got a long way to go with that, and the centimetres off my legs that I was hoping to do. Just little things that count. I've started doing yoga nearly every day, which has been good towards my flexibility and mindfulness. I have that I want a new site for my travel page on here, and I haven't done that, but I'm creating a site at the moment for my writing. So stay tuned for that. I will not reveal anything just yet. I did the triathlon, and I have a bit of a note that I sent about this triathlon to Andrew, who put it on his podcast, and this is what I said. So obviously we know I did the triathlon last year, and I trained really hard for that one, even though it was a massive distance. So this year went around and I was fitter and I knew what to expect. probably train less, but I didn't think I needed to train as much as I did, and I had a goal to get under an hour. I probably didn't prep as well because I had a wedding the night before, which was awesome. I would not have missed that. But the elements were obviously not in my favour, and it was over 30 degrees. And as we know, because I spoke about in the last podcast, I got over an hour. But I beat my last year's score time. And I counted my losses because I did it again 2 years in a row, and sometimes we need to remember, even if we didn't complete our goal 100% how we wanted, we did it anyway. So I've done it. The triathlon is done. Also on my vision board, I want to, and what I have achieved is I'm still reading a lot. I haven't invested my money yet, but I will get there. I've explored a lot of Melbourne with a lot more to do, but I think I'm seeing different parts of Melbourne. For instance, the Pink Lake. I saw the Pink Lake on the weekend. Very pink. I will post photos of that in the show notes. Being a tourist in your own city is kind of fun. Even if there is a lot of annoying tourists around, it's all right. We'll just take a deep breath and get through it. I've planned some road trips. I'm going to Bright in Easter. So if anyone has been to Bright and would like to share their Bright information with me, I would love to hear that because I don't really know much about Bright. What else have we got? Fiverr, freelancing jobs. I'm working really hard towards those. I've got a lot of amazing clients. So shout out to you guys. And I'm on track for some really good jobs. And what else have we got on here? Grow. I want to continue to grow every single day. And I think we all grow a little bit every day. If we get up, that's a win. Right. So as for my book, I have done not a lot towards that. But that's fine. Also on there, on my in my goals, which I further developed, I have a lot on building my relationship with my friends and my family. I have a lot of other things that I've changed, which I think I'll review a little bit more when I've got a bit more done towards those. Obviously, with my travel blog, I want to really up my views, which I've done, and it's been amazing. Like I've had so many amazing people share my blogs, businesses that I've shared them with, they're absolutely loving it. So that it's been amazing because at least if they're getting some benefit and their customers can see, the benefit I've had from them, that's great as well, especially around Melbourne with some amazing cafes. Shout out to Field Black, personal favourite of mine. Also shared my post as an Insta story the other day, which was awesome. So anyway, that's kind of what I've done so far. I think I've ticked off a fair few great ones, like Europe booked, going to New Zealand. I've also done some ones that weren't on the list. Hobart road trip. Why not? So obviously, I've changed. I've got this new website I'm creating, which you'll know more about soon. I've actually sent emails to my friends, which is one I've really wanted to do about my weaknesses. So thanks so much, girls, for being supportive about that. I haven't sent them all yet. I've sent some, doing it at bits at a time. I know that's a massive, daunting thing to do because, no one wants to tell people their weaknesses. But it's all about honesty, and I'll take that feedback greatly. It'll be really appreciated. So am I on track? I think I'm really on track. I'm super happy with where I'm with my goals. I'm always checking in on them and making sure that I'm where I'm at. And there's ones that, if I don't want to do them anymore or if I feel like I need to alter them, I'll do it. It doesn't matter. Goals are goals. If you feel like they don't align with you anymore, just get rid of them or change them. What I need to work on, I think, is finding a little bit more time and slowing down a bit. For instance, with my books, I want to read 15 and I'm reading 3 at a time. And, someone said to me, maybe you should just read 1 and then, focus on that and you'll get it read quicker. So that is a great idea. There might be 2 I'll read at the same time because they're completely different books, or I schedule time to read certain ones, but it's definitely a good idea to not take on too much at once. That's what I need to work on, is focusing on things. And then when I have them in my to-do list and I have a reminder, just do it. It's a 5-second job, some of them. And I just leave them. But it's all about doing the little steps towards goals instead of getting massive big wins, getting some small wins every single day. So I think you should do your 3-month review and tell me how you went, how you're going with your goals and how you're tracking. All right, so let's make your year a little bit better. And this might not be in your goals, and it's so not in mine, but I did this on the weekend and it made me feel awesome. Maybe that's why I'm super buzzing, because I have food. I started cooking, and I think we should cook more. So I spent the weekend baking. So I made some like healthy treats because I have a super sweet tooth and I keep doing like 11 o'clock donut runs to Woolies, which is a really bad habit, which I need to stop. So I made some like this chickpea chocolate slice type thing, which is really good. I made like these cheesecake frozen bites. So I'm going to put some of the recipes that I looked at on the weekend and cooking for other people too. Like my housemates and I have been cooking together and it's just amazing. Food brings so much happiness to me and I'm sure a lot of people. So let's try and find some time to cook more. And even just easy things like these treats are super easy. They take me like 15 minutes, but it's just finding the time to do it. So even if we do it like once a month, cook a couple of treats, and then some of them are really easy. You can do them like every now and then. Because there's nothing better than having a full fridge and pantry, I can tell you that. So my life hack is going to make your life a bit easier when it comes to organizing. So I listen to this podcast called Declutter Me, and she has this app that she uses called Tick Tick. And it's a to-do list app. And I know we have reminders on an iPhone or you have reminders on an Android. I'm not sure what you guys are all using. But this one is amazing. I'm actually obsessed with it. So you can add categories and have due dates. And it's really easy to organize with your calendar and have action items. So like I have a couple of subcategories. For instance, if I quickly bring it up, I have my podcast to-do list, my work at my job, my lunchtime one, so if I need to get things done in my lunchtime. I have like just an ideas one where I just like quickly chuck in ideas and I deal with them later. Long-term goals and priorities and short-term. And then like when I'll look at them during the week and I'll go, okay, well, I'll try and do that one Wednesday. I'll try and do that one Thursday. And then it'll just remind me each day what I've got to do. It's super easy. Give it a go. It's called Tick Tick. It's free, so we all love free. And it has like color categories and you can use it on your computer as well, so it will sync. So if you're a big computer user or laptop user and you want to use it at work, it's perfect. Cool. Definitely good life hack is to get a good to-do list app, and I've found you one. So you don't have to do the research, it's already done. So I'm going to recommend that we all take some personality tests, or 10. I'm obsessed with them. Really, actually super obsessed. My bestie actually sent me one for emotional intelligence. So I did that one and it talks about your emotional intelligence. It helps you look at how you act in certain situations and how you think people act in certain situations. And it gives you a score and then it helps you with what you need to work on. So I'll post that in the show notes. Emotional intelligence is really good for work and how you empathize with people, how you communicate with people, and it'll just show you your strengths and your weaknesses. So emotional intelligence is an awesome one to do. And also I did this one on your overall personality and I got protagonist, and I'm sure everyone is not surprised by that knows me. I got 92% extroverted on that. So with this one, it gives you like your strengths and your weaknesses. It gives you like a potential career path to take. And it also look at like how you deal with relationships, how you deal with your career. It's great, and you can just read it. There's obviously like paid versions, but we all like free things. So I just did the free one, downloaded it and took it. It always tells you you're in the top 4%. Just pretend you're special because everyone gets that. But it is a really good personality test to see like where you're at, if you're doing the right things, if you've got the right strengths and weaknesses, and how to work on those as well. So I'll put the links in the show notes, but I really like to find out more about myself, and it's really good to find more about yourself, find out what you like and what you can do with your personality to get the best out of yourself. And sometimes like you might think you like something or you try to like something, and these personality tests make you realize you just don't like to do that. And then you can just go cut your losses and move on. But yeah, they're really, really great. I really enjoy personality tests. Okay, so it's birthday month. My birthday is on Friday, so this will come out on Wednesday, and it'll be 2 days to my birthday. I will be a quarter of a century. Some say 25 is the best year of their life, and I think this one could be one of the best years of my life. Birthday month's never really good for me in terms of how I treat it. I always think everyone should have a birthday month, so that's another recommendation. Treat the month of your birthday as a celebration. But I take that a bit loosely and drink a lot more than I should. So the long weekend just gone for Victoria in Australia, it's Labor Day. And I went out on a Friday night. I met a girl who's I found on one of the travel groups. So we caught up, and then I met my housemate who had a friend over from Adelaide. Shout out to Nick. And we wanted to show him around Melbourne, and I ended up getting home at 4 a.m. Again, saw the lights come on at the Provincial. Never ideal, especially when you wake up with $2 in your bank account. So yeah, I felt good in the morning. I wasn't hungover, which was good. I went and did 1,000 steps in the Dandenongs. So, it wasn't a complete loss of my day, but sometimes you just need to realise when enough's enough and go home. Anyway, Sunday I went and saw one of the guys from work, Kane Cahill. Search him on Instagram. Check out all of his music videos. He's a really good artist, and he was playing a gig at the Port Melbourne Bowling Club. And for those who have never been there, it's a really good place. It's cheap drinks, and the cheap drinks got a bit out of hand. And although I was home at 12, you can probably imagine that it wasn't great when you get home at 12 because you're too drunk. It's been a big day. So Monday was a complete write-off for me. Shout out to Brittany and Haley who sent McDonald's to my door using Uber Eats. If that is not friendship goals, I actually don't know what is, because that was a lifesaver. But honestly, was stopped drinking at say midnight, was hungover until 9 o'clock the next day. That is some sort of record and ridiculousness. But then the girls all decided to remind me of how I've been in previous years on this long weekend. And I've come to the conclusion that the Labor Day long weekend is really horrible for me. Last year I went out Friday night, I went out Saturday night, I went out Sunday night. I had 2 concerts on, and the Friday night, Abby and I and my housemate met up for the first time, and I think we went out with $50 and we're out till early hours with way too many mixing of drinks. That's my problem. I mix too many drinks, and I just can't. I have no self-control right now. I will learn one day. I'm turning 25, so surely that's where you learn self-control, yeah. If you've got any self-control tips when it comes to going out, please send them to me. I need them. Anyway, the year before was Justin Bieber on a Friday night, and I didn't drink at the concert at all. And then we went out, and I remember waking up with the bouncer knocking on the toilet door and highly recommending I leave. And waking up so hungover that I couldn't drive my housemates back to my hometown for the weekend, where we're going to explore and show them around. So one of the other girls, I think it might have been Amelia, had to drive my car home while I fell asleep in the back. And I had a Micra, and there was 5 people in my Micra. That is not ideal. So anyway, I think the only recommendation I have for hangovers is frozen drinks. They at least do something rather than make me feel worse. But birthday month is not a good month for me. And it's just happened years, time and time again since I've moved to Melbourne. I just celebrate it like I'm 20 years old and I'm super resilient when it comes to alcohol, and I'm not. And we're only halfway through, so wish me luck. Thank God I'm going to New Zealand towards the end, and I can detox because I'll be hiking and camping. And I can detox from this ridiculous month that I keep having. So this weekend I had a quiet weekend, which was great. But yeah, they are fun. I will admit I've had a lot of fun over these long weekends and this birthday month. But I don't know. Let me know if you have birthday months or if I'm the only extravagant one that just takes it to the extreme. When I was in primary school, I used to count down my birthday from January. You can ask my friend Nicole, it drove her nuts. But I'm not really super excited for my birthday. I just like to celebrate. And the worst thing, well, not the worst thing, but the best thing about it is Abby and I are having a joint birthday in April. So it just continues on, really. And then 2017, I went to America and just turned it into birthday holiday. So anyway, what do you do for your birthday? Or do you make it a little bit less extreme I think we all do need to celebrate birthdays, though. The people that don't, it's just fun. You need to celebrate your birthday. It's the reason you're here. You might as well celebrate the fact that you are here. So celebrate your birthday. Maybe don't make it as extreme as me. So anyway, now I just want your opinion on something. And I read and listen to a lot of content. So sometimes people often have different opinions. And I want to know what you think is the best way to look at life. In one of Hal Elrod's podcast episodes in Achieve Your Goals, I'll put the link in the show notes to his podcast, he talks about the time he realized he thought he was a good dad, but he was actually comparing himself to dads he was better than instead of dads who were better than him. So when he comes to this conclusion, he wrote down action items so he could better himself as a dad. Like instead of just dropping my kids off at school, dropping them off and picking them up as well as dedicating more time to spend with them. So I think, it's looking at, so-and-so's dad doesn't pick them up at all from school, and at least I drop them off. But then you could have another dad that does both. So instead of saying, oh, well, I do it better than someone else, maybe comparing yourself with someone that does it better than you. But is that too much pressure to always be having to be the best all the time? As the girls from the Australian fitness program Keep It Cleaner, Laura Henshaw and Steph Claire Smith, they speak about comparing yourself with others and trying to not be the best all the time and not comparing yourself with this social media life and this ideal persona or someone that's better than you. So should you set the bar to the highest point or lower to reduce stress? So what do you think? I guess it's looking at it as a matter of comparing yourself with people that are true to themselves. I'm not sure. I really want to know what you guys think about this. Like, where's the happy medium? Do we go, okay, well, my role model is, this amazing business owner. Do you always have to be at their level? They could, for all they could hire a cleaner. They could have more time because they've got more money. So, more money gives you more opportunities or more time. So, should you be comparing yourself with someone better than you? Where's that level of better than you? I think it's great to have role models and always, strive for the best. But I think you also need to take into considerations things that you're capable of and also not being too hard on yourself. So what Hal also does is he manufactures breakthroughs. So what he'll do is he'll pick a topic and he will rate himself, and then he'll think of ways that he could be better, which I think is great. I really like this idea. But I think in terms of comparing ourselves with someone at a different level to us is unfair. But I would really like to hear your opinion on this. I think we need to compare ourselves with people that are better than us, but we don't know other people's circumstances, and sometimes we do need to cut ourselves a little bit of slack. So I think there's a good happy medium on this, and I think that possibly making our own breakthroughs. So for instance, you could go, okay, one day I'm going to write down the topic of my career. I'll rate myself of where I think I am in my career based on other people, yes, but other people that are still at your level. And then write down maybe 5 action items that you could improve. So it could be, you're in sales and you could make yourself make 10 extra calls before you check your emails in the morning. And then you could just make yourself accountable for those things. So I think that's a great way of setting a bar a little bit higher, because you don't want to compare yourself, go, oh, well, so-and-so doesn't make 100 calls. I make 50. They only make 25. But then someone else makes 100. So you should be aiming for that level. I agree in that sense. So I want your thoughts on that. So please message me or email me or comment and let me know what you think about that. Okay, so now I just want to leave you with a quote, the quote of the podcast. We are so accustomed to distinguishing our true nature from others that we end up disguising it from ourselves. So who are you exactly? Ask yourself this and see if it's different from how you portray yourself to others. So I think it's important to be you and be you with other people. Obviously, we have a level of how much we show other people based on our comfort levels, what our values are. But I think if you have set values and you stick to those, then you can be yourself in front of anyone. You don't have to hide who you are. If people don't like you for who you are, well, then they're not worth it. So think about how you portray yourself to others. Think about how you actually want to portray yourself, and just compare and see where you can, find some differences and actually really be yourself, because I'm sure people would love to see that side of you. So that's it from me for this episode. It's a bit of a shorter one. I will be heading to New Zealand for the next episode, so I'll try and work on something. I've got a couple of interviews. I've got some really exciting things coming up. I've got an amazing guest that I want to have on the show soon. I won't give too much away, but it's about getting some time back in our lives. So I will have her on. I'm currently reading her amazing book, so stay tuned for that one. Also, before I go, I just want to tell you a couple of things. Podcasts are great, yeah. So we listen to them all the time. If you're listening to this, you must be a podcaster. Try In the Dark. I've binged it. I don't binge things that often. I find I don't really get a lot of time, but I binged season 1 and it's really amazing. Really, really good. Also, if you like me and don't always have time to sit down and watch Netflix, I recommend trying to watch just like documentaries, because then you're like obviously stimulating your brain a little bit more, and you're not going to get sucked into hours and hours of content, and they're true stories, so you're going to learn something. So we started watching the Dirty John TV series, my housemate and I, and then we watched the documentary, and now we feel like we don't need to watch the TV series because the documentary is really good. So just try and watch some documentaries. That was really random to add at the end, but I just thought of those. So before I go, I just want to tell you to love yourself, because if you don't, no one else can as much as you want them to. All right, I will talk to you later. I hope you got something out of today's show, and if you like this podcast, don't forget to tell your amazing friendship groups. Also subscribe, rate and review on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. It only takes a couple of minutes, but it really does go a long way for people to see my content on the podcasting apps, and so people can really get something out of my show. It will really help me out, and I really, really appreciate it. But if you're looking for more information on this show, you can click on the description and there will be the show notes link where you'll find all the content I talked about, pictures and everything to do with this episode. Also add me on Instagram, and you can find me at _Mariah McInnes_ or at A Traveller's Antics. You can message me on there, follow me, follow my journey as well, and all my antics and amazing friends and traveling destinations. So follow me on Instagram, talk to me on there, or you can email me at mariah_McInnes22@outlook.com. I'd love to hear from you guys. Just always message me, let me know what you think or what you want to hear and what you want me to talk about, and I would definitely incorporate it in my show. You can also read a bit more content on my blog about my traveling and my mindfulness at travellersantics.blog. So what you should read for this fortnight, I have some new content on top tips for those traveling to Melbourne, my city and my home. I just want you to get the most out of this beautiful city and the must-see and do's of Vietnam. My friend Amelia asked me for a list to pass on to a friend, so it inspired me to write this blog on things to do and see in Vietnam. And I will hear from you during this fortnight, and I will have an episode in the next 2 weeks for you to listen to while I'm in New Zealand. Okay, bye guys. So I headed to Vietnam late 2018, and the one thing that you don't even think about is if you'll need a visa or not. I was just imagining the amazing food and the beautiful Ha Long Bay, but luckily for Vietnam visas, they make the whole visa process so easy. So to book your visas, please go to the link in the show notes, which I'll add, or in the description. You'll find all the information that you need to know, and they will help you make sure your trip to Vietnam is super amazing.